You're watching News 24 Live. Springbok coach Heineke Meyer has just announced his matchday side for the Springboks' highly anticipated Rugby World Cup semi-final against the old foe, the All Blacks. Today we have a special guest in studio to discuss the team selection and this weekend's match, former Springbok centre Devet Barry. Devet, thank you very much for coming in this afternoon. Pleasure to have you here.
It is a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
First of all, the team unchanged, other than on the bench, Victor Matfield is fit again, so he replaces Peter Steph du Toit. But do you think that this is the best side that the Boks can put out against the All Blacks?
Listen, firstly, it's great that we can select the same side. You know, I don't think Heineke had this pleasure even before the World Cup. You know, he's always had to deal with injuries and players not available due to overseas commitments, etc.
Yeah.
So it's great, and we saw since the Japan game that we had consistency in selection, and consistently the guys are performing better. You know, and that's in itself a great thing to see, and you know, it gives us great hope. So you know, so for me, I would have looked into Pat Lambie maybe at fullback, and that would probably be the only change that I would look at. But otherwise, it's great to see that the team is selected on a consistent basis.
Why do you think Heineke Meyer has stuck with Willie Leroux at 15?
Well, you know, he can do the magic that we all know he can. You know, we haven't seen it yet, but in the World Cup specifically, we've seen it before many times, and he does have a real talent. You know, he's a fantastic rugby player. I thought maybe from a kicking point of ability and pole kicks as well. You know, we want to get a backup kicker for Andre Pollard. You know, we can't afford that him. You know, not saying he will, but we hope that if he maybe misses one, then you have Pat Lambie there, then he can kick a few as well. You know, so from a quarterfinal point of view, I would thought, you know, that'll be a great asset for the team to have a backup goal kicker in the team. He's on the bench, so but still, I thought he could have got a nod. Yeah.
Devet, so the Boks haven't faced the All Blacks in a World Cup since the 2003 quarterfinal in Australia, which you played in.
Yes.
And the Boks went down 29-9.
Yes.
Now, it sounds like no one's giving the Boks a chance.
Yeah.
The slightest of chances. They came very close to beating the All Blacks earlier this year.
Yeah.
What do you think they have lying in wait for them?
No, listen, at this stage, the Boks, I think, are definitely capable of beating them. You know, I want to stay positive. You know, the All Blacks played an unbelievable game last week, you know, and I'm not saying they won't be able to get the same game going this weekend. But the fact is, it will be very hard for them to get the same performance going, and they're playing a much better team this weekend. You know, so Africa is the one team that I believe that can perform on this level and beat them. You know, they are one of the teams, one of the few teams that can beat a great All Black side like this one on a high stage like this. So I back them. You know, I'm a bit patriotic, but the fact of the matter is I know they can beat them. They've got a great coaching staff. They have a great team. They've been consistently performing better since the Japan game, and we're only going up. You know, so that's great for me to see, and that gives us a lot of peace. So I hope and I do believe that we have the ability to beat them.
And two contrasting styles of rugby, I guess. There was some comments made last weekend how the All Blacks, you know, when they ran rampant over France, how they tend to run around defenders, whereas the Springboks like to run through them. Case in point, Bash Barry, you just used to bulldoze these guys. Is that the kind of approach that the Boks need to take?
Well, you know, there will be a few things they have to change to beat the All Blacks. You know, I thought our ball in contact were poor. We lost ball in contact quite a few times, and then the breakdown. The Welsh guys really attacked that breakdown, and that's where the Japan guys also beat us at the breakdown. So, you know, we'll have to look at that two vital parts of the game, and then obviously our set phases have to be in place. The forwards need to play a great game to, you know, to not allow those All Black backline players to play on the front foot. So the emphasis, like in the old days, you know, will lie on the front, on the forwards. But you know, the breakdown and ball in contact was worrying for me last weekend. So they'll definitely look at that, and I'm sure they will improve on that.